Hello everyone, welcome to my PHP tutorial. In this lesson, you will be going to learn how to write a PHP code and how you're going to publish into the SAMP web server. So before moving forward, what is PHP? As you can see here, PHP is a popular general purpose scripting language. I'm collecting this message from the php.net site. So this is the official site for the PHP developers. All the new release information and changing request and change logs and downloads and all related information to the PHP will be published in this official site. So when you look at the PHP versions, the latest version is PHP 7, which was released 2 years before. So PHP 7 is bit of a new version, but there's a very stable version, PHP 5, which was run for more than 10 years. So what is a scripting language? And what is a language or a normal pure language? So I have a small table describing what is a scripting language and a programming language. So a programming language, the first point, it says it has all features need to develop complete application, where the scripting language it's mostly used for routing tasks. So that means if you consider a Java language, it's a full application or a full package. You can develop any application using the Java. But in PHP, you can't do that. You can only look at the web development. So that's the difference between this programming language and the scripting language. And also you can see the most of the programming languages are compiled, but in scripting languages some are compiled but most are not compiling, so they execute on the fly when it's running. And the other important factor is programming languages are independent, so there are no need to be embedded with another environment to run it. But in scripting language, you need to have an environment to run that programming language. So scripting languages we can consider when it's come to the web development. There will be a front end scripting languages as well as back end scripting languages. So JavaScript is an example for the front end scripting language, where the PHP can consider as a back end scripting language. So the next step is we need to have the SAMP application installed into your computer. If you haven't done that before, check out my video in SAMP category. So you can install the SAMP application using the apachefriends.org. So when you go into the downloads, you can check out what are the available version. So you can see here in the latest SAMP version for the Windows application, they use the PHP version 7. So when you click on what's included, you can see what are the versions of the application which include in this package. And also once you install, you can again look at the version of your PHP. So how are we going to do that? So once you install, you can open the control panel of the SAMP and then start the Apache and the MySQL. Then you can go on to the SAMP web page. So in there, if you look at the PHP info button, you can see the versions and some of the other settings information related to the PHP. So in my local setup, I am using PHP 5.5, which of a bit old version, but it's more stable. Right, so I hope you understood the setting that you need to be implement before you working with the PHP. So the next step is we are going to write a small PHP script and save it in the XAMPP web environment. For that I need a text editor. So I'm using the Visual Studio Code, and I'm using a location where to save all my PHP related applications. So it is in the C drive, XAMPP, htdocs, and there you can see I have a folder called codewrapper.com. So this is something a different folder location compared to the default one when you install the XAMPP. So if you haven't look at my previous video in the XAMPP category, you may need to host your save your files into the dashboard folder. In here you can create a folder and save this. But if you are running, if you have look at my previous video, I have already shown you how to create a multiple domains and pointing onto a different locations in the htdocs. So I'm requesting you to look at that video as well. So in my codewrapper.com I have one example file called index.html, and if you go into that location by typing the domain name, you can see I'm getting the index.html file, and there I have put a message saying hello code wrapper. So that is the file you can see in here. So I'm going to have another new file, and this time I'm going to save this as a PHP file, not a HTML file. So I'll name this as hello.php and save inside the codewrapper.com. And then I will get the basic HTML structure and then put a h1, and then I can say this is hello PHP and save this. So only difference between these two files are the file extension. Why I did this? So if you are going to work with the PHP, you need to make sure that the PHP language is able to read your file. So how we do that? The PHP look at the file extension. So if you are giving the HTML file extension, what happens? PHP will simply ignore that file and it's not going to be processed. But if you provide the .php extension, then PHP start to read this file and then provide you the necessary output. So in this PHP file we don't write any PHP code, just change the file extension, but still PHP will start to read this code and look at if there are any PHP blocks available in this file to process. Since we don't have anything, this PHP file simply look at this page and then return the result back to the Apache server. So if I go into this browser and then go to this hello.php file, you can see that the hello.php file is returning into my browser and it shows me hello PHP. So this same thing we can write in a PHP block like this. So what you did, you create a PHP block inside the HTML code, and once you do that, then you can see I am getting a syntax error. So syntax errors means that you have grammatically provide some error in this code. So how are we going to fix this? Since this is just a result that I want to print into the browser, in PHP I need to forcefully inform to print a message to the browser by using the command echo, and then I have to wrap it with double quote and put a semicolon. Now you can see the error went out once I save this file. So that basically the first step. I'm going to show you that print a message into the browser. So then when you go back to the page and refresh, there's nothing changed, but that this time you will be showing this code block after processing by the PHP code. So from the next tutorial onward, I'll be going detail on PHP code, PHP language, and some of the functionalities and fundamentals related to the PHP one by one, describing with examples. So I'm going to stop this session for today, and we'll meet on next tutorial. Thank you.